What's going on, world? Welcome to another episode of We on the Last with Tyson Paul, the show where we get some of your favorite comics together and we talk about nothing but comedy. Today, we have a very special guest with us. Man, this guy is the host of Laugh After Dark on Amazon Prime. He's also been a guest on the Steve Harvey Show, and he's a mainstay in the LA comedy scene. Let's give it up for Shreveport, Louisiana's very own Charlie Wilson. What's going on, Charlie?
Man, put some respect on that shit, baby. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Shout out to Louisiana, baby.
That was a good intro. That was
a good intro, man. I felt like I was coming to the stage. What's up, y'all? What's going on? What's going on? All right, everybody. Give it up for my man Tyson, y'all. Give it up for Tyson.
Yeah, man. Oh, it's one of those introductions where the host doesn't get clowned like after he walks off stage.
Right. It's a nice transition.
Cause you know, like a comic will let you know if your introduction for him wasn't that good. He'll clown the shit out of you for 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's funny too. Sometimes they be like, "Yeah, man, I didn't think I was gonna get up here. Nigga did 25 minutes up here, man." So just bring it right up. You know what I'm saying? Be some shit like
that. Basically, man. So, man, like, what's been going on, man, in LA right now? Originally from Shreveport, Louisiana, but you now live in LA. And, you know, just doing the damn thing comedy-wise. But let's get started with comedy in general. Let's talk about some of your first memories of comedy. Like, what are some of your first memories of comedy in general?
Gotcha. I mean, in general, it goes back to, I think, my early childhood. You know, I was kind of real goofy, you know, and there was nobody that I really could identify with that was kind of my goofy, because I felt like there were funny people, there were comedians that get on stage and be funny, but just like, oh, no shit, you know, just wild and charismatic, until I saw the Wayans brothers. Marlon Wayans was somebody that I resonated with early on. Obviously, Martin and Jamie Foxx were characters. Mm-hmm. But, you know, Marlon Wayans was so animated, you know, in his personality. So he was someone that hit hard with me. But, yeah, so, I mean, I was just a goofy, crazy kid. Never thought comedy or stand-up, but I always knew I wanted to be an actor. So I got into doing, you know, church plays and speakings. And, you know, I was in school stuff. And, you know, I started becoming more vocal. And, you know, I didn't discover comedy until years and years later. But I knew acting and, you know, entertainment was something I really, you know, had aspirations to do early on.
Do you remember any of the first like comedy specials or anything like that you saw like as a kid? Like,
yeah, man. You know, I'm an 80s baby, man. So, you know, this is probably going back to like Eddie Murphy Raw. You know, I think it was one that I kind of saw rocking the stages. But then as I got older and started to understand, you know, the element of comedy a little bit, you know, I saw Martin Lawrence when he did, you know, Run Tell That. I saw a lot of Def Comedy Jam. Def Comedy Jam is probably where I really went stone crazy with the Bernie Mac came out. You know, I ain't scared. Yeah. I was like, you know, young Tucker. So I remember watching Def Comedy Jam, and that was a huge highlight of something that seemed powerful. But at the time I was watching it, I never really thought it was something I could do and really get on stage and do. At that point, I was just a fan. You know, I wanted to be an actor, but never really connected me. I'm going to do that one day, not even at that point. So, you know, from Shreveport, I moved to Dallas, Texas. And in Dallas, me and my high school sweetheart, we started rocking out there. I got into sales. I started selling cars. You know, I got hired at like a Honda dealership and started off just as a little green pea on the sales floor, trying to talk to people. And you know, we stayed in Dallas for like 5 or 6 years. I moved to Volkswagen, got promoted, internet management, and had pretty cool early success in the car business at least. And still, I'm doing stage plays in Dallas now. So I'm like 22. And remember when Tyler Perry first started dropping shit? You know, he was doing stage plays. Every black person in the community tried to be a director.
Yeah, he was selling DVDs out the back of his car at church.
Yeah.
So
he inspired a lot of niggas in the local neighborhoods. So a lot of the people in the community wanted to aspire to write and do stage plays themselves. So I kind of got on board with a stage play that came out. It was actually pretty decent. It was a story of Tyrese Gibson's mom and how she battled with like alcoholism. So someone was covering her story. So being from the South, we was like, oh man, it's gonna be dope, man. Tyrese might co-sign. Ain't no telling what might happen. You know what I'm saying? I might be an actor. Look, you gotta understand, babe. I gotta go audition. This is part of the life. You know, I'm all feeling myself. But nothing really came of that. And still good experience. Love to be on stage. But from Dallas, we ended up moving to New York City, and New York is where I was like, shit. I don't know nobody out here. It's all kind of stuff happening. Even if I suck at comedy, nobody knows me, nigga. Nobody.
Yeah.
So I got nothing to lose. So at that point, I was like, shit, I'm gonna give it a shot. One of my boys that his name was Florida P. He's actually a comedian too. Shout out to Florida P. He's in Dallas, but he's the one who actually planted the seed. Like, Charlie, you should try stand-up comedy. He was the first person that told me that I took serious. People always tell you you're funny, but everybody thinks they're funny in the community. Who have you met who didn't say, yeah, people tell me I'm funny all the time,
Everybody's uncle.
Right. So, but when, we were doing a stage play actually in Dallas, and we were kind of setting up the stage, before the show. You got to put the sofa, the fake TV, the fake dress. You got to set all that stuff up, the painting, make sure all the props and shit is right. And as we were setting that up, I was just kind of bullshitting on stage. Mic check. What's up? How you doing? And he was like, yo, bro, you should try to do the comedy thing. You ever tried it? And from there, I was like, all right, maybe it's something I should consider. I moved to New York.
Makes sense.
It
makes a lot of sense because, like, a lot of people, like, because I mean, I'm pretty sure in the play that you were acting in Dallas, like, the reason why people thought, you should do stand-up comedy is because you were naturally funny as an actor.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
but I never correlated it to stand-up comedy. I was just always thinking comedic actor. I guess I'll be on TV. I guess I'll be on film. But when I hit the open mic in New York, man, it was like, bam.
So wait, was the first time you doing stand-up in New York, or was it in Dallas?
In New York. The first time I ever hit a microphone to do stand-up was in New York. It was like in New York, in Manhattan, Lower Manhattan, Lower East Side. They have like those little bars you walk in and you kind of go downstairs, and they have like a little stage up. So it was cool. It was a vibe. There was like an open mic. They were doing poetry and, comedy, whatever you wanted to do. Motherfuckers in there playing the guitar, poets. And I was like, all right, I'll do 5 minutes, $5. And I hit the open mic. And literally the dude who owned the spot, he was in the room. And he was like, after the show, he was like, hey, man, you were really good, man. I was like, oh, it's my first time. He was like, really? I was like, yeah, man, it's my first. He was like, all right, come back. So I came back again the next week and was, hey, good job. And at that point, there were some people in the audience that were like, hey, you were funny. Would you be interested in auditioning to be like an audience warmer for like a TV show? And I was like, hell, yeah. What you mean? Sure I do, nigga, sure.
Yeah.
And it was like a local network TV station called the Manhattan Neighborhood Network. And I guess she was just like kind of like this aspiring producer herself. And anyway, that transpired to me kind of filming a TV show pilot for myself. I was going to try to create a daytime TV show. So after doing comedy a couple of times, that was the next thing I kind of stumbled into is the Charlie Wilson show. Nigga, it was going to be like a new version of Montel Williams. I was excited about that shit. So it was studio cameras. I was like, look, Chad there. I was like, oh, this is dope. So we shot like one pilot episode, but she didn't really have her shit together. She was like a struggle Oprah. You know what I'm saying? She had a good heart. She had a good heart, but none of this shit really came out. But I didn't call myself Charlie Wilson TV until I shot that TV pilot. My Instagram name changed to Charlie Wilson TV when that happened. So
that still counts. It still counts as a credit.
That's true.
Counts.
Somewhere.
Counts, especially as comics. As comics, we'll use like any opportunity, no matter how disastrous it was. We'll use it as a credit. Like, so you was at Oprah the day they did the mass shooting? Yeah, I was on Oprah though. Like, so put that down as the credit. I was on Oprah. I made
on the resume.
But no, that's good. So So what made you take the risk from moving from Dallas to New York?
Man,
and this was like before you even knew about doing stand up, like in New York. You could have did it in Dallas,
right? And
like had quite a little career and stuff like that. So why didn't you try it in Dallas?
Man, it was just a crazy time in my life, to be straight up. I told you I moved to Dallas with my high school sweetheart, you know what I'm saying? So her and I, we still this young married couple from the South in this new city. We're trying to figure ourselves out. I'm trying to be in entertainment. She's trying to hold me down. We kind of bumped heads. And it was at that point where it was just like, yo, you know what I'm saying? If you ain't feeling it, then you ain't got to feel it, And she was like, well, I ain't feeling it. And I was like, well, I ain't even, so what's up? So she made the call. You remember that episode of Martin when Gina got that opportunity to go work in like Chicago?
Yeah.
And Martin was just like, well, go, step. You know, if
Yeah.
As soon as she walked out the door, Martin was like,
Yeah,
nigga. Well, she left me and she moved to New York. And I was, nigga, for about a week and a half, I was, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
He said I was strong about it for a week.
About a week and a half. And then it just kind of hit me, man, like a ton of bricks. You know, I grew up in the church, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I knew her heart was always in the right place. I knew we were young and trying to figure things out. I know that I didn't really put my best opportunity into us. Yeah. And I really felt like I owed us to be able to really try to put my best foot forward. So I made the call and I quit my job. I sold my car. I bought a one-way ticket and I went to New York. And
how much was the car? Like,
I got a few racks.
I was about to say, he's like, I sold my car and then I got a one-way ticket. I was like, so how much was the car and was it enough for the one-way ticket?
They covered it. But then New York and everything's expensive. You know, niggas want rent, security, deposit, blood. Nigga, I'm from Texas. Like, we got at least special. You know what I'm saying? Movie specials, at least in all this, you know, cheap deals, washer, dryer. I'm used to the good life. You know, I went to New York. Everything was quadruplified. You know?
Yeah, man. I think that's as comics, I think we don't realize because we're too busy like being focused on like making this dream come true that we don't realize that people that are in our lives, like they support us, but like they're also like, you know, they're also realistic. Like, cause like comics, we're not trained really or programmed to be like that realistic. Like, oh, if this doesn't work, like, you know, you know, there's no way we just sit there and say like this doesn't work in our minds because we done already had that experience where like we've made a whole room like laugh their ass off. So we think we can do that everywhere and stuff. And then like we don't kind of realize as comics, like, cause most comics, when we're like that first year, like is the best year ever. That first year, like we think this is gonna always be this way. We always think people are gonna want to come see us. We're always thinking that like our jokes are gonna hit, and like we're gonna just keep improving as the years go by. And like, yeah, we think just like you, like, oh, we're gonna get a pilot and a HBO special and everything like that. And then you hear the stories. It's just like, yeah, man, like Kevin Hart had to struggle for 20 years before he got on, or like D-Ray was doing this before he got on, or like Mike Epps was like homeless or something like that before he got on, like for years and stuff. And then like we kick like people to the side that we feel don't support us. I mean, and they do support us, but it's just like they're also realistic. Like, okay, like it's like if you had a mom or something like that, and you'd be like, okay, well, you need a plan B. But like, mom, like, why you gonna say I need a plan B? Like, you don't think I'm good enough?
You don't believe in me, moms? All right.
Yeah. So it's always a touchy subject because like I know a lot of comics, like especially right now, like with everything going on and like comedy clubs being shut down, it's like hard for us to basically depend on somebody else like being there because like the fact of they're not living the same life as you and stuff. So with that being said, okay, you followed your high school sweetheart, and actually it's a good thing that you did follow your high school sweetheart because she's like in a way got you into comedy. Hopefully you guys are still together. But
she don't let me forget that either. You know how I got a you know beautiful black queen in there. She don't let me forget. Okay, so you moved to New York to be with me. Remember? Remember who got you in the company? Okay, get the clothes, fold them up.
You may be famous, but you still doing the clothes. Remember. But yeah, nah. Like so. Okay, so how many years were you really doing the New York scene, and what was it like doing the New York scene?
Man, dog. So I was out there a total of about 6 years, and it was like, well, it was a marathon, just an adventure, bro. Like, you know the game that came out that was super famous, Temple Run, where you got Nigga, it was like all day long. I was here, there, you on the train, you off the train, you up and down steps, you dodging people that's asking for money. You on the it was there's a lot of shit going on out there. But I'm this young aspiring kid from the country, from the South. So I was inspired every day. I've never been more inspired, more humbled, more just infatuated with the place. So every day I was lit up. You know, I felt fortunate. I felt grateful. I felt blessed just to be out there pursuing something that I found, you know. So I kind of understood that it was something major that could change my life, but I just kind of knew it really wasn't going to be easy. So I started trying to figure out what could I do to separate myself from everybody else that's doing this. And nobody knew me, even though I thought I was a little funny. I still was a little practical in knowing that this is going to be a process. And I always had to take care of the fam. So I went and got a job. I was like, all right, no, I got to work. So trying to do them both became exhausting. So off top, obviously, I was trying to get booked wherever I could get opportunities. I didn't have no manager. Obviously, New York is a place with a lot of different rooms, but if you got to know the right people to get pulled onto bringer shows and mics and different opportunities. So anyway, I started producing shows. So after hitting the first couple of mics, I said, all right, well, I'll find my own venue and I'll put on comics. And that was dope. And I was just like, all right, Charlie, we're going to do this. You know, first of all, do it somewhere besides New York so you can figure out somewhat of a formula, nigga, because you don't know what you're doing. So the very first showcase I produced was in Shreveport, Louisiana, which is like my hometown. And that was cool. That was a good experience. I came back to New York. Oh, yeah, I'm so proud of you out there in New York doing your thing. So that was fun. And then I come back to New York, still going to work, still just kind of getting mics whenever I could. But I produced another show in Dallas, Texas, and brought out some Dallas comics that I kind of knew. Produced that. That was fun. Back to New York. Now I was going to produce my first showcase in New York, which was I was shooting for the stars, but I was able to get something at Broadway Comedy Club, Midtown Manhattan, 50th Street, nice club. And I think I started like a nonprofit at the time too. I was just kind of trying to piece shit together. And I booked like Leonard Oots. I booked this dude, Bobby J Comedy, Marcus Banks, who's big on the East Coast. He actually tours with Mike Epps too. And Billy the Billionaire. And yeah, I think those guys. And anyway, dope showcase, man. So here's what's crazy. I'm gonna tell you a quick story. So I'm selling cars, right? I'm selling Cadillacs in Queens, New York. So I tell them that I started this nonprofit. I tell them I'm doing comedy. I'm telling them I'm producing my first showcase because, hey, nigga, this is where I'm at. That's what I'm doing. The owner of the store is like, hey, Charles, that's good, man. We want to support you. So I was like, well, let me get a Cadillac for the day. You know what I'm saying? So I can show it to my comedy show and style. Needless to say, I take an Escalade. Pow, pow. So I got my first show in New York. I fly Bobby J into town. I pick him up at the airport, Escalade. Pow, pow. What's up, boy? Leonard Oots is in town. What's up? So we rolling. We hit the show. It was a blizzard. So my people wasn't sure. Tickets wasn't coming in. But it's Broadway Club. So a lot of people was just showing up off the streets and coming to the show. So the room still filled. I had jackets donated to this showcase that I was going to donate to a school, like an underprivileged kind of school in Brooklyn. So anyway, that was like my first produced show that, I'm still just proud of, that I was able to pull it off, pick them boys up in an Escalade. And man, it was just, it was fun. I really enjoyed that. And just from there, continued to produce shows and get up wherever I could. And I was really big into like live music events. So I used to host live music showcases, which the music scene out there is crazy. New York is crazy for the types of shows and stuff they have on. So I just had a ball, man. So I'm traveling, taking trains, falling asleep on the subway, for work. But it was exhausting as hell. We had our daughter out there. She was born in Brooklyn.
Oh, that's what's up. That's what's up, man. Like, congratulations. Now, well, see, I want to go back to when you were first producing your first like show in New York, because like I think everybody, like guys, like producers, like comedy producers, always remember that first show. And like, do you remember it now for the lessons that you learned from the show, or do you remember it for the experience?
Yeah, definitely. Good question. Both of them. Lessons. That first show taught me a lot, and I think I continue to learn from every show from there. So it's stressful when you got a family and you're trying to figure this shit out. To your point, like you said, like we are confident in ourselves and our abilities, but you have this other individual who is very practical, and that's usually the person that's closest to you that reminds you. A lot of times that puts things into perspective that you may or may not agree with in the moment. But it was interesting growing pains. I remember booking cool comics that would come into New York. They might be booked at Gotham or booked at wherever, and I might have a show at the same time. So as people were coming in, I was just kind of, meeting different people and able to extend a platform for them. So it was fun, and I built some new relationships while I was there. So I was just having a good time, man, and excited to be a part of, my growth process, but a part of other people's too.
Mm-hmm. And did you because I remember the first show I put on and stuff, and it wasn't in New York or anything like that, but it was big to me. It could have been Madison Square Garden to me and stuff. It could have been like the biggest thing ever. And I just remember like the night, like I'll never forget that night and stuff, and how many people we packed into the show. And it wasn't it's like you in my hometown and stuff, and like I just never forget how many people we like packed into that show. But the lesson that I learned from it didn't come until after we produced like a third show when it was empty as hell. But we always thought that like the same people that was coming out to these shows, the first show, was still gonna come out to second and third.
Man.
So
like, the day or two before your event, and it's like, I think I gotta get some people in this bitch.
Well, no, we just thought because we were like you, we just thought like, oh man, you know what? It's a walk up town. Like people just gonna walk up and stuff like that. Like I mean, you have people like, oh yeah, like I love the show. Like keep doing these things, keep doing these, and I'm gonna keep coming. And they're just telling you that, and then you'll learn later on. It's like kind of like they're being polite, or they really do mean to, and then just life just takes.
That's frustrating. That's frustrating shit. From a producer's perspective, that can almost drive you mad. I remember having those types of moments and feelings as I'm new. Nobody knows who I am. I don't even have a career as a comedian at this point, but I'm still building relationships with comedians that are grateful for the stage time and happy as I'm producing a showcase and a cool looking flyer. But nobody in New York City really knows me. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, I sell cars. I got the few people I can invite to the dealership. Hey, man, when you get off at 9:30, maybe you can swing on my comedy show. You know what I'm saying? So I grew super frustrated with that process and losing money. Lost a lot of money. Producers, just y'all know what time it is and how that kind of goes. I remember one day I booked, I think Redo Brown and Pretty Ricky. She was on the show in Jersey. I had some cool comics that they get bread. Like you get paid, you can get paid some money in New York as a comedian, more so than LA for sure. You get paid anywhere outside of LA for that matter. But the reality of it is like I was paying some of these comics. And then I remember one night my money was tight. You know what I'm saying? You know, a couple of days before your check come in, it's the most you've ever had in your life. Well, dog, I remember one day after the showcase, I had to go to the ATM and take out my last few I was like, you want all of it? I told you to make people come. Here you go. Thank you. I so appreciate it. All right.
You went to that ATM and look. This is how you know you spent your last dollar. When you leave the ATM, you take a few steps and then look back.
Right.
Look back at the ATM. Like, can I just put this back in there? I can put this back in there, right? But yeah, I think every promoter like knows about that, like the risk you take and stuff. Like, cause I mean, you just never. I mean, it's in a way it's like gambling, but like you feel at the moment you feel like it's not. You just feel like, oh, it's just me putting on a show and stuff, doing what I love to do and stuff. But you never know like the mental anguish you got to put up with, because not only do you got to put up with the venue, you got to put up with comics, and in New York it's probably a lot like more stressful, because you got to put up with comics, you got to put up with the venue, you got to put up with like just trying to get people in the door, and like why should I come to your show rather than the 15 others that
hella shows, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I can only understand. I can only relate to like what that's like. But tell me about like okay, so what made you move to Los Angeles from New York? Because New York is like kind of the mecca of comedy.
Right,
Like,
right.
but I mean, if you want to be more like in comedy entertainment, you do move to LA and
Right.
stuff. So what made you move to LA?
5 words. It was cold as fuck. Nigga, my country ass was not used to that shit, man. I was out there, you gotta wear a beanie, long john, scarf, and my daughter was born out there, and it was just a lot on the trains, and that was a big motivating factor for us. So,
Mm-hmm.
my wife being in fashion and me doing comedy now, we did like it. There's a lot of great benefits there. The spring is great there, but nigga, them winters, motherfucker, burn your soul, dog. Them bitches burn through your skin. I was like, why am I feeling this type of pressure in my bones? I was like, nah, God don't want this for me. God wants more for me, bro. So anyway, my mom is originally from LA.
Mm-hmm.
So she met my dad, who's from the South, but she's from Compton, she's from the Compton area. So I knew even once we moved to New York, you know what I'm saying? Because LA was somewhere that I kind of wanted to come to from Dallas anyway, about transitioning to LA anyway. New York didn't come to the table. That was just where my wife had just flew the hell off to. She just took off. You know what I'm saying? So once I got to New York, I was like, all right, it's cold as hell. It's expensive as hell. We're trying to get our daughter around. Hey, look, I'm not shoveling this snow no more, baby. We got to figure something out. Like, we got to sell all this shit on Craigslist. We got to get the fuck on, all right? So that's what we did. We made a plan. We saved a bunch of money, ended up spending most of it before we got to move. And then we packed up our stuff and we drove cross country in like 3.5 days and started just figuring it out until we got settled. We started off in Santa Clarita and then we kind of moved around from there and we've been moving, but now we're kind of settled in the valley.
Okay, cool. And then like, so when you moved to LA, you were already like, how'd you get into the LA scene? Like, cause like coming from New York, I know like you knew how to get into the comedy scene in New York. It's just basically like, and you were unknown, so basically it's just like you were down to like kind of like beg and
starting
be humble about it.
Essentially, starting dry.
But in LA, like I know in LA comedy scene is a lot different from New York. So I know LA, like you kind of gotta beg, but also it's like you damn near almost gotta sell your soul for no reason, for peanuts and stuff. So how was it?
Just to kind of get on anybody's stage and stuff to keep yourself kind of busy and occupied out here. Yeah, but I guess I kind of started the same way I started in New York, because in New York, I wasn't getting up at Gotham. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't at any of the famous clubs per se. They the bookers that wouldn't hit me up. I've always kind of been the underground dude who put on his own shows. I was doing, local shows and bars and clubs and stuff. And it's the same way thing I kind of did out here. I kind of was embracing those that would embrace me and kind of went onto the platforms that I could connect with. And that wasn't a lot of times mainstream comedy clubs. And the Laugh Factory, hey, come on, Chuck. I wasn't. And because I worked a 9 to 5, I wasn't there for their potluck and all this shit, all the mics they be there. I think I'm at work. You know what I'm saying? That's all good and cool. I'd like to meet the bookers too, but nigga, they at work and I be at work. So whenever I could get off 9:30, that's bar spots, club spots. So I just kind of rocked those venues while I was here. And then obviously networking, social media, kind of forces you into some of those bigger stages, whether you're ready for it or not. So I was grateful to be able to hit the Comedy Store and the Laugh Factory and, these different places here. But still underground. And I started producing my own shows, So my first year here, I think was 2014 or 2015, I think 2015. And I produced a show. I just booked out like a nice theater and put on some comics because of coming from New York. I still kind of knew of people and would follow people. And I had like a radio show online radio show I did in Jersey for a little bit. So some comics I kind of knew of when I did come to LA. Then I just kind of would go and interact and network and just kind of been figuring it out, man.
Okay, well, side note, tell me a little bit something about okay, because I think like a lot of comics need to hear like something like this. Okay, so you worked and did comedy. Okay, so
the whole time.
so do you think that like more comics need to do this. Like, because I remember our egos are kind of sky high. No matter if we're an open mic person or like a national headliner or something like that. But like when it comes to like people like sitting there asking like, oh, like, okay, so what do you do when you're not doing comedy? It's like just writing or something like that. Like, what is the important? Why should comics like not be ashamed to still work?
Man, this is my
while do comedy.
This is a huge point for me, so I'm glad you brought it up. But I'm an advocate for comics having other shit going on, whether that's like, a 9 to 5. It could just be something part time. It could just be something else that brings you revenue, whether you like it or you don't. You're passionate about it or not. I think it's still good because we can drive ourselves crazy trying to accomplish what we want to accomplish while checking our phones and seeing other people get these wins and they taking off and he touring and he headline and he got a show while we're just stuck in this one place. We got all of our, things in one bucket. Like, this is comedy. This is all that we have. So I think if you can have something else to occupy your time and fill that space and interact with other people, I think there's a lot of benefits to that. So I'm grateful that I have found sales and I have found the car industry that I like and I'm passionate about. And I have these other people to talk to that aren't comics, that just have regular lives. So that's, for me, I feel like healthy because mental health, I've become a lot more aware of as well as this pandemic has hit and, we can't hit the stages like we used to. So I think it's having that other job is good because it not only gives you the security and the peace for yourself and knowing that, hey, this is a marathon. This is going to take some time. Mm-hmm. Let me make sure I'm good and I can take care of myself. And if I want some shoes, I can get them. And if I need to take care of my kid or my wife or my whatever, I can do that a little bit better. So I'm an advocate for that. But at the same time, I also kind of struggle with that too, because I know that Steve Harvey, Bernie Mac, and some of these people, they was on the train, they was in their car, they had to really put themselves out there to be able to really maximize their talents. And now we live in a time now where people are so tech savvy, where all this time that I'm spending at work, I could be writing. I could be creating content that's actually quality or, develop. I want to shoot my own, short films and all this kind of stuff. But I feel like that sometimes is a crutch. So it comes with a little bit of a cost too. But I think it forces you to become better with your time management because think about it. If you work in this many hours a week in your job, you only have this much time for your comedy and your creative ability, etc. So I think that it forces you to manage your time well, which means I got to plug in this show, this podcast, this interview right within this little bit of time so that as soon as one of these opportunities rescue you essentially and provide financial stability for you, then your schedule just opens up. So you still are doing a lot of those same things you managed to do in 20% of your day. Now you have 100% of the day. Mm-hmm. So I feel like it's just challenge you a little bit more too. At least that's how I try to look at it because it's still a struggle with giving so much of yourself to somebody else's business and other organization when you got the talent and the skill set to be successful and to make the money. So it's a little bit of a struggle, but I'm still an advocate of it.
Yeah, and then, since you're saying, like, it's still a struggle for you, because that's, like, also what I was going to ask you, like, okay, like, so you gave me the pros and stuff like that, and the cons are you just, you always see other people, like that are focused on comedy, like, basically 24/7. Like, you see them getting little wins and stuff like that, and it's hard for you not to be, like,
a little jealous, a little bitter, right?
Yeah, it's hard, but, like, like what, like in your mindset, and I think I already know this, like what in your mindset just is like, okay, you still doing the right thing. Like, like everybody's going to get a win. Everybody's going to get a win, so you just got to wait your turn.
That's a good point. Like when I first moved out here, I knew like, some of the Nate Jackson and BT Kingsley and some of these guys who are really making like viral videos and Jahan Jones that make these viral videos ahead of time. They would be filming certain points of the day. And I'm at work, dog. Hey, man, yeah, I can't, yeah, man. Let me know if y'all shooting on a Sunday or something. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I think it's Wednesday at 1. Nigga, Wednesday at 1? It was like, I'm at work. So I was a little frustrated for sure because I wasn't available to create some of the time and have some of the success. Like a lot of those guys that put in that time now got 6-figure followers and, 250,000, all this kind of stuff. So it's kind of like, But for me, I try to remind myself, Charlie, you got your own journey. You got your own process. You have to embrace your own process, and you have to do what you feel is best for you and for yours, based on your conditions and where you come from. And that following or that time or that XYZ doesn't mean that they're still going to be more successful than you. They could dedicate all of that time to X, Y, and Z. Just because you're taking care of your business and honoring your family, you still can be blessed. So that's what I choose to believe, that, I know that I'm putting my best foot forward. And I feel like my dreams will one day rescue me, from my job and take me from that place. But and that's kind of what I have to stand in, because the alternative is what? Quit and then free up that time, potentially. But that takes a big step, and it's a big risky, especially when you have others dependent upon you. Yeah. So again, it just forces you to try to maximize your off time and try to do the best you can with your off time.
Yeah, man. I always think that, like, especially with comedy, and the beauty of comedy is time. Like, you're gonna get your time, like, no matter what. Like, no matter if it takes like 20 years, 10 years, 2 minutes, or just like 3 years or something like that. Every comic is gonna get their moment or their opportunity to showcase their talent. And when that time arrives, like, you just got to put your best foot forward and then just hope for the best. I mean, because like I said, like with comedy though, it's a lot of comics that have like moments. It's like they have like a stretch run, but the run doesn't last that long. Like if you go back to like Cat Williams in like 2005, like once he put out Pimp Chronicles, like he was the hottest comic ever and stuff for like a few years. And then after a few years though, like then Kevin Hart showed up. And then like Cat Williams' time kind of diminished, and then Kevin had his time, and then like another comic comes and they have their time and stuff like that. So, but even in the meantime, like you're not even gonna, like, I would say like not every comic is gonna be the next Cat Williams or Kevin Hart, but like if you work your timing, like if you work your time management well, like you'll be successful. And
definitely.
So with that being said. Speaking of your time in LA, man, like, cause I think I met you, or I knew a lot about you when you moved to LA in 2014. I think that was kind of like the time, I want to say, like you were like basically around the LA scene and stuff. So like the LA scene it's basically like you can succeed, but it's basically like a who you know and like who you don't piss off and everything like that. So what was it like for you moving from New York? And you like getting in the LA scene, and you were actually starting to make waves and stuff, but then like there was a little bit of jealousy, right?
Yeah, I mean, and jealousy is not really necessarily the word for it, but I feel like I was underground, and I feel like because again, I wasn't able to get on the Laugh Factory stages and these comedy stores main stage, but it's a process to get to those places, so. The only thing that I was really, or I can be jealous of, is the online success of some, people or comedians, and they figured out their thing. They put in the time. So that's what I struggle with, my ability to not necessarily invest the time that I want to put into it, only to not reap the benefits that I haven't really put into it yet. But I mean, that brings up another good topic. I think I've almost been a little paranoid about building an online following too. As much as I know it's kind of a necessity now. I'm a country boy from Louisiana, and I kind of like the circle that I have now. I think my little fan base is dope as shit. You know what I'm saying? I've only got like 7,900 followers, I think. and maybe only 2,000 of them is alive. You know what I'm saying?
It's a loyal following though.
Right.
The ones that are alive, it's a loyal following.
Right. 300 of them say what's up every now and then. But I think that's cool, and I'm content with just that. Because I think once you start bringing in all of these strangers, and you do have 300,000, and they're expecting this, and they can be, sometimes brutally honest. Now you got to go back and forth with them, and sometimes it just seems like more shit than what I really want to deal with. So I feel like I've come to peace with the fact of when online success is supposed to happen, it will. Just do your shit, Charlie. Do what feels good. Do what feels right. Live your life, and just keep it pushing. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of my personality behind it. But would I like to have a bigger following? Yes, so that when I do put on an event or I do have shows, they'll have the views and they'll get more notoriety, and the people that I put on will have a bigger platform. So I know it's necessary, but I've struggled with the way, and I want it to be organic, of course, but the way in which that base is sometimes built.
Yeah, I totally understand that. Like,
So
it's just like it's a waiting game, but like even though it's a waiting game, it's just like but I still gotta wait. Like this is bullshit.
Yeah.
It's
So LA's a fun place to work, though. I will say that there's a lot of
it's definitely a lot warmer.
Definitely a lot warmer. So it's a breeze anytime you're going somewhere. And the comedy scene out here is more of a move. It's like it's a move for the night. It's a little vibe. So wherever you go, it's usually pretty chill. And people in California are cool and laid back, man. So it's dope. Yes. In my opinion, it's the coolest places to rock. Even though the South, they come with the energy because they a little bit more loose and free. You know what I'm saying? Versus LA, sometimes they can be ha 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 ha. Yeah.
Yeah. Nah, I always say the West Coast is like basically like the West Coast lets you know you made it. The East Coast lets you know you're good at it. The South, they just ain't got nothing to do, so you better be funny. Like that's all Southern people want to do is go to a comedy show. Like, hey, we went to Cracker Barrel before we came here, so you better come with some jokes.
Right, I got gravy on my shirt. I plan on having gravy on my shirt. Give me more.
Like, if you can't pack out a show in the South, you just like something's wrong with you. You might be on America's Most Wanted or something. Because people in the South go to everything. But okay, so actually you did have a 15 minutes of fame moment. Okay, so you were on the Steve Harvey show.
Yeah.
And
before that,
a lot of people recognized you.
Yeah. So a lot of people, even before that though, I did some on-camera stuff with the Wendy Williams show. And that was the first 15 minutes of fame from comedy. That was like probably maybe like first year in New York. That's how my Louisiana people saw the Wendy show and saw me do my little quick bits there, and that was cool. And then Steve Harvey's show was a funny, kind of an interesting experience too, how that was supposed to go. But it was a good experience, it was an interesting experience. I won't go into the whole story, but it was fun.
Like did Steve actually talk to you? Because I've heard like Steve don't talk to everybody.
Yeah. So without going into all the details, me and Steve actually had a segment together. Me and him, almost one-on-one. So it was just me and him on the stage, and we were supposed to go into our little, kind of little tidbits or whatever. And he was kind of just doing most of the talking. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't get a chance to. It didn't really blend and flow like it was supposed to have, or was designed to. And then we went to the next part of the segment, and things just, didn't really gel as much. So they ended up kicking the whole episode from even, going, just from there. So it was an interesting experience, but, was he warm and friendly? Hey, what's going on, brother? Not at all.
Damn.
He was doing his job, and I was just a dude on the stage, trying to have his opportunity, but, he just did his thing.
See, this is why I always tell people, I was like, I never really want to meet my idols. Like, or not even idols, or just anybody even like that high up there.
Get your heart broke, baby. Get your heart broke.
Because I remember I was in Las Vegas and I met Big Boy from Outkast. He was like, he was in a VIP like right behind me and stuff. And like I tried to get a picture with him. He kind of didn't want to take a picture with me, which was understandable because it's a club and stuff like that. But then like, I was like to myself, I was like, I'm never gonna see you again and everything like that. Like I'm trying to ask him, like, yo man, like I've like listened to all your albums. I even did this. I even watched this. I even watched Idlewild 3 times. Like he still was not into it. I was so hurt for the rest of the night. I was like, I don't want to be in this club no more. I don't want to see his face no more. Nothing and stuff.
This nigga in the car unfollowing him and shit.
Yeah, I did. I unfollowed him right on Instagram. I was like, I'm unfollowing him. I still like every time I hear Big Boy now, I still just remember that moment and stuff. But then, like, no, being a comic though in LA, like in you sit there and see celebrities all
You
the
meet a lot of
time.
cool people. Right,
Yeah,
right,
you meet, but like some of the celebrities you thought were cool aren't cool.
right,
They like
right.
are fucking assholes.
Right.
You're like,
It's
what the
interesting to see
fuck?
some of their personalities. Now, Fred, it's interesting to see some of the personalities and how they interact and how they move. Some just cool and down to earth. Yo, what up? Da, da, da. You know, did you used to go to Crack 'em Up?
Yes,
Yeah,
still
Crack 'em
do.
Up.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
still.
But you know how that room goes. Sometimes they get right off the stage, and all the comedians are just kind of right there. Hey, what's up? Hey, hey,
Yeah.
And sometimes they will, hey, what's up, and talk for a minute. And sometimes those guys wouldn't even say nothing, or they'd be out, or they wouldn't want to take a picture. They just, so it
Oh
was
yeah, yeah.
a lot of cool stuff and cool people.
Yeah, yeah, nah, definitely. Yeah, crack 'em up, you definitely gonna see somebody and then
Right.
like you'll like say what's up. And so and then you might have went on like right before them or something like that. They just still be like, all right, yeah, whatever, man. Like,
Right.
dang, man, you know what? I've been dying to meet you all my
Right.
life. And this
Right.
ain't
But
work.
I feel like we could take something away from all of those moments though every time too, to remember to keep that in mind for when we continue to rise and grow
Oh
and
yeah.
that
Yeah,
person. So
definitely.
now we'll keep that in mind. So now, just to your point, I want to be the opposite of that experience that you had with Big Boy because
Yeah.
now that we know we're gonna take that extra step. Come on, man, come on, man, get it quick, man. All right, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just
Oh,
to do that.
yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. And then next time I see Steve Harvey, I'm gonna be like, you fucked with my friend Charlie. I appreciate that. You fucking bald head. Like,
Right.
oh man, I hope your daughter like loses Michael B. Jordan forever and all this other stuff. But no,
Right.
man. Let's talk about let's talk a little bit about Laugh After Dark. It's a show that you were on the second season on Amazon Prime and stuff, and then you became the host season 3. What was your experience like season 2? Like basically going because like shooting in Hollywood is definitely a lot different than like what people think they see on TV.
Right.
Like what was that experience like for you? Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, so for me, again, I'm still a country nigga from Shreveport, Louisiana. You know what I'm saying? That's been trying to find his way. So for me, the fact that I auditioned was cool. I got accepted to do the live audition. That went great. And then when I got the call back that I've been chosen to be on season 2, super lit. That was my first like official solid TV credit. Even though I made appearances on like some random, I think, commercial. And then the Wendy Williams show, little snippets. This was like my first official TV credit. So that was fire with Amazon Prime. It was cool. They have a kind of like they work with a small team, so it was very intimate. Everyone was pretty close. The environment that we shot in was pretty warm, so people could interact. So it was always just a cool, smooth energy. And yeah, we shot it and fun. We had a premiere party. It was dope. Everybody showed up drinking. We had the cake. We got to watch the show. So yeah, I would say that it exceeded my expectations as far as how they delivered. But how it still was a small team. So it was inspiring to see just a small team of people curate this idea and this formula and organically develop this show in such a cool way, and putting all of these new comedians on the platform. That's why I was kind of interested. I was like, damn, some of these comics I ain't even hear of, you know what I'm saying? I ain't been in the game forever, ever, but who are y'all? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I was like, dude, like you, nigga, that nobody know you either. So
yeah.
I thought that was cool because there were some dope comics that were working and that were out here, but there was a lot of opportunity for new comics. So for me, fun. It was a dope opportunity. I had fun. Super grateful. And after that aired and season 2 was successful, I got a call from the producers. They were like, hey, would you be interested in having a meeting with us? We're going to be in town soon. I didn't know what the fuck they wanted to talk about. But I was like, hell yeah, it must be about some business, nigga. Yes. Yes. And it was fucked up because I actually put it in my phone or something, and for whatever reason, I didn't get the reminder. I'm at the park with my daughter, and randomly remember that this is when I was supposed to be meeting them. So I'm sitting down with my daughter at the park, And they text me like, Charlie, where are you? I was like, no. I was like, I'm about to miss this movie. So I had to drop my daughter off, apologize, meet them, and we met. And that's when they just said, hey, we liked your energy. We're impressed with what you're doing season 2. Blah, blah, blah. Would you be interested? It's like, hell yeah, let's do it. Let's figure it out. So we continue to just kind of meet and plan and work toward, the auditioning and the process for developing season 3. And it was working out so dope until COVID came along.
yeah. So about that. So y'all was ready to shoot season 3, and then the pandemic hits. Like, so how crushing was that? Like,
I was ready to leave my job, nigga. I was like, fuck these cars, nigga. I'm out, nigga. I'm gonna buy one of these cars, nigga. I don't give a shit. Fuck y'all, man.
Oh man.
But I didn't get that excited because you've been out here for a while. It's a marathon, nigga. It don't matter what opportunity looks good, nigga. There's very few of them that's gonna come around and really change your motherfucking life. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be patient for that day to come. So I kind of understood that. But anyway, season 3 was, like I said, we were supposed to shoot it like 4 nights. We had everything planned out, and everyone already did. I think we already did like the rehearsal shoot. So it was like literally game week. You know what I'm saying? That we had to make the decision to kind of pull back and decide to, just put things on hold. Because remember when we first locked down, they said we're just gonna do lockdown for 3 weeks, some shit. We thought it could pass. Hey man, by the summertime or June we'll be fine or whatever.
Yeah.
Then July came, and then August came, and every month it was kind of like, man. I thought we were slapping back, man. What the fuck?
Yeah, definitely.
But at the same time, here's the silver lining, though, bro. I told them too, like a couple of months ago. I was like, it's actually a good thing that we didn't film, because now, how outdated would all that material be before COVID? Like it would be like before COVID. Like how would that would sound 2018, 2017 almost? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now we've got time to talk about something that everybody in the world felt. You know what I'm saying? So we have a little bit of a different perspective. So I see that as a blessing, and hope that we can continue to develop and shoot a successful season 3.
Yeah, man, you're like one of the only comedians from LA that actually sees the pandemic, sees the positive in the pandemic when it came to comedy. Because like any other LA comic or any other LA comic I just like talk to, they just been like, yeah, man, it's been fucking stressful. I'm depressed, like suicidal, man. They said it was only gonna be 3 weeks, and it was only 3 months, and now it's still going on, man. I don't know what to do. I just missed the stage and all that. And I was like, and I ask these like comics all the time, like, okay, so well, what have you been doing in the meantime? There's like, yeah, man, I just been too depressed to write, and all this. It's like, how, like life didn't stop when the pandemic happened. Like comedy clubs just like couldn't open. You could still like write your material and have it prepared, always be ready. Because I think like as soon as comedy clubs get open, man, like it's gonna be a lot of people using the same tired jokes that they had before the pandemic, because they wasted basically valuable time not really writing during the pandemic and stuff. And then like the ones, you're gonna get that one new guy that just comes out of nowhere that just spent his whole pandemic just writing like just masterpiece material, and he gonna come out and be like the next Charlie Wilson and stuff. So
shit, I'm trying to be the next Charlie Wilson, nigga. What you mean?
But so being a host of an actual comedy show, what is that like? Like, what do you think that feeling's like? And I mean, not even that you even got to like host season 3 yet, but like you still got that feeling, because now you do the Do Tell podcast and stuff for Laugh, where like in the meantime you just get to interview all these comics all the time, and you kind of still get to be like the host and everything. So what does it feel like being a host now, like on TV?
Gotcha. So exciting, you know what I mean? Hosting feels like probably the best opportunity I think I could have received, because hosting is something that I've probably done more than just performing as a stand-up comic. All of the shows that I produce, I would just host them as well. That was my way of just making sure that I could get stage time, because niggas wasn't handing out stage time left and right. You know what I'm saying? You had to go bringer shows, especially early on. So right out of the gate, first 2-3 years, I was just producing and hosting. And I had comedians that I would go about. So I feel like hosting this show is just, organic. And then again, I'm grateful, super grateful and blessed that I've been working as a host for a long time. So it's something that I feel comfortable with doing. In fact, I feel more comfortable hosting than I do, headlining or doing, 45 minutes or something like that, because I still feel like I need to challenge myself more. I still feel need to work on, jokes and delivery and timing. There's so much art form that I still need to develop. Hosting has just always been, kind of a little bit of a comfort zone for me too. So I'm excited about that opportunity, but can't wait to see, how I'm able to grow from that and hopefully start developing more towards true headlining and, working towards hour special, that kind of a thing. But so maybe year 15, I've been doing this 10 years now. So maybe year, 13 to 15, something like that, I'll really be strong, solid, and feel good about myself being a true headliner. So I'm excited about this, opportunity for now.
Yeah. And then, with producing a TV show and stuff, especially like during the pandemic, you guys like basically had to shut down because you didn't really know how to really go about things early on. But now, since you guys like kind of have like noticed what you guys can do and everything like that, do you think like that you guys may be shooting your season 3 pretty soon, or?
Yeah, so we're pretty eager, but I think we just have such high expectations for how we want things to look, and we want to make sure we put our best foot forward delivery wise. We also want to try to make this an event safe to where people will feel comfortable, because in LA, we on the patio. We on the patio like a motherfucker right now. You know what I'm saying? Niggas is on the porch out here. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, how many people can we fit into a venue, and how do we set up the seating in a safe way to where people feel comfortable even showing up, because we still have tickets that people bought when we were supposed to originally shoot that we can still offer a lot of those same people back, but it's just got to be in the right way. So anyway, I brought up the idea of, hey, maybe outdoor, maybe outside, but then there's different cinematics that go into that, creating and shooting outside versus inside. So, the discussion's definitely on the table, but the Do Tell podcast is super, it's been super fun. It's just chill. It's very natural. I'm glad that it's just super light and natural as well. So we just kind of get to talk and catch up, and that's always fun to interact with some comics that are on the show, as well as some comedians that are not. So we're kind of, networking and, collaborating with some other talents and stuff as well. So it's been fun. That's helpful, really helpful. Because I listen to a lot of podcasts too. So to be a part of one that's being created for somebody else to listen to is super cool.
Okay. And I guess let's start spend a little bit on the future of comedy in your eyes. Who is a comic that you think is going to be like one of the biggest comics in the game that nobody knows of yet?
Man, there's a lot of cats that are talented now. I feel like we're like in a specific class, of comedy. So our year, is kind of a specific group that I think you and I and a lot of us kind of know or interact. So we know the Nate Jacksons, we know the Ryan Davis. I'm a big fan of his, who's a a comedic genius. I think he's pretty funny. Man, there's so many freaking comics that are hilarious now. I do like Leonard Oots. He's got a special that's about to drop on Epics. And again, so to see some of the cats that I worked with early on, like years ago in New York, this guy Leonard, he was working at IHOP when we when we first rocked together in New York, and now he's got a special that's dropping. So to see some of these cats moving and doing some of the things that they're doing, it's just inspiring. But there's way too many to even name. But there's certain comics that I just enjoy watching every time. Some new cats as well as some OGs that just deserve their time too. Like I don't know if you know, like Howie Bell, who's from Detroit, super funny, OG headliner. Like, nigga, I want to see it.
I remember Howie Bell from Bad Boys of Comedy. Like that was my first introduction to how he been. This motherfucker right here was a Miller. Man, get him a Miller highlight. Like I remember him. I remember Howie Bell, man. And I seen him at the Comedy Store a few times and stuff like that. Because he's like originally from Detroit, right?
Yeah,
like,
from Detroit.
Yeah,
man.
yeah. No, so I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of Howie Bell, and and just like a lot, like you said, there's a lot of comics like right now.
Tony Baker's popular too, man. That's the homie.
Oh yeah, Tony Baker's like, I think Tony Baker's like, he got to be Kevin Hart. He got to be the next Kevin Hart, like in a way. Like, cause he just has that face, and then like his mannerisms and his like comedic acting. He just and the voices and stuff. So he's definitely like gonna be the next Kevin Hart and stuff, or not even next Kevin Hart. He's just gonna be Tony Baker, like the biggest star on the planet and stuff. So, what are your thoughts on social media comedy right now? Do you think in a few years it's gonna be played out, or do you think it's here to stay?
Social media comedy in terms of sketches and skits or virtual shows?
Both sketches and skits, and then like virtual shows. Like I know once comedy clubs kind of come back, like virtual shows they'll happen, but like they won't be as popular or necessary. But like just say like sketches or like people just roasting like today's news and stuff. And, like, cause you started doing social media comedy a little bit, like with the news with the news things that are hilarious and stuff.
So yeah, I think it's here to stay. I mean, social media obviously is something that's not going away. I think people's voices are not going away, obviously. So it's going to continue to be a thing, and I think it's going to continue to develop and change and transform as much as technology continues to move. So we're all kind of racing along with the pace of technology, but that can be a little exhausting too. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you're trying to, manage your business and figure out your shit. Now you're racing to keep up with technology and all the different apps and stuff that are coming available and stay engaged. So that can be a little overwhelming and exhausting. So I think it's important as comedians that we remember to just relax, focus on our shit, breathe, do what's organic and do you. And just kind of move at your pace. I think the more that you kind of create your own little pace or your own little flow and just kind of cruise. And then again, you're able to do a little bit more of that when you have a job. You know what I'm saying? You can put yourself into a little bit of not necessarily a cruise control, but you can work at a manageable pace that balances out you and your family and all the other shit you have going on. If you just relying on comedy, then there's no pace, nigga. You up, you down, and you down for a while, and it may not be an up for a minute, and then you're constantly shifting with your environment, and our environments can be a little wild sometimes in terms of where we're going or the drought that we experience, and sometimes those feelings that go along with that. So, I mean, I feel like social content is key. So that's why I try to stay engaged. My content is always a little different. Sometimes you're gonna see a Range Rover from work. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you're gonna see me and my daughter, my child. So sometimes it's gonna be just me talking about some video. Maybe there's a punchline. Maybe it's just me talking about a fucking video. Who cares, nigga? So I feel like it's me. I'm organic, so I can always be consistent with that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And then would you so what if your daughter comes up to you one day and is like, Daddy, I want to be a comic? Like, how do you start her out?
Get a job. I'm like, that sounds good, but you're gonna get a job and we're gonna learn.
You go give her a notebook first? Nothing, you just go give her a job application?
Right. I'm like, oh, that's cool, baby. I support you. But where are you working? What's your resume look like? So I'm gonna encourage her to do the same thing that I'm doing in terms of whatever her dream may be or what she may aspire to be. I'm always just gonna encourage her to try to take care of yourself while you're trying to get this dream that's going to rescue you and change your life one day. Believe in yourself. Continue to push toward that, but also understand you've grown, you got responsibilities. And like me, I love simple shit, like going to my refrigerator and grabbing a beer when I want one. Using Dove soap. I like Dove soap. I don't want to use no cheap ass Irish Spring. I want some Dove. You know what I'm saying? I like to go out sometimes. You know what I'm saying? My wife like nice shit. You know what I'm saying? So I gotta put in the work at work so that I can afford myself the time and the luxury to be able to invest into me and some of the shit that I want to do while providing a comfortable lifestyle that I can be consistent with.
Definitely. I mean, chase the dream, but don't be a fool chasing it.
Don't be a fool chasing it. Because again, it's not necessarily that you're a fool, but it's that you're working yourself really hard and you're putting a lot of stress upon yourself and a lot of pressure on yourself. And when Steve Harvey and all them cats slept in their car a long time ago, that was one thing. But now we've got our phones with us in that car while we're depressed, while we're watching these other people, while we're going through a tough time. You know what I'm saying? That can be a lot of weight while we're watching all this negative stuff and the coronavirus cases and stuff. It's like, man, where do you revive yourself? Because if it ain't a stage or an opportunity, where is your revival coming from? Mm-hmm. Is it in the form of a paycheck from your job? You don't have that either? Is it in the form of a solid friends and family and network that's around you? Do you have that? You know, so something's got to be there to revive you. So keep yourself busy, exercise your mind, and do things to take care of yourself.
Perfect. That needed to be said. Definitely needed to be said, man. So, if you were putting together your perfect comedy show, like, put together your perfect comedy show as in, like, give me the venue you dream of. Like, it could be a comedy club or just a venue of your dreams, and give me 3 other comics you would like on the show with you.
Okay. That's interesting there. Any comics?
Any comics.
You gonna tell me I have access to anybody? All right. Mm-hmm. So
you're definitely gonna. I'll just tell you beforehand. You're definitely gonna lose friends over this.
Oh, I'm sure. Like, all right, cuz. All right. So let me tell you what I would do. I would probably book, because I've never actually even been there for a showcase, but it's always been a venue that I was like, it's epic, it's legendary, and it's kind of a good fresh speed that I would kind of enjoy. The Hollywood Bowl. The way that their outdoor amphitheater is kind of set up. There's a big, nice stage. I feel like it's very concert-like, so I would probably have a musical performance set up if things can go the way I wanted them to. I would have definitely musical appearances. I probably have Currency come out there smoking and rapping or whatever. Some of my favorite artists kind of perform. And I would have probably my boy Ron G or somebody kind of get the crowd going, get them hyped up, woo, 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 and then kind of introduce me. Again, I'd have a live DJ there rocking, and then kind of introduce some comics. Who that lineup would be. It's kind of tough to start putting it into words now, but definitely some of the people that we already spoke about in terms of Tony Baker, and I think comedian CP is hilarious as hell. Damn, man, so many fucking names, so many people, bro. I'll probably put up about probably 5 other comics.
You turned this into a whole bringer show.
So I would actually host, and then I just put up 5 other comics that I think that were talented, that would bring the energy, that would put it up. I would have my girl Takara Williams on there. I'm actually rocking with Takara this weekend in Dallas at the Improv in Arlington.
Nice.
So that show
Shout out to Takara. Shout out to Takara.
Shout out to Takara representing for the ladies. So I'd have it fun. Jasmine Williams is funny. Brandy Denise is funny. So I get one of these other females a nice opportunity as well, and kind of mix that showcase up. And that would be probably a big time epic show for me. Outside, outdoor, dope crowd, music, and some fun comics. But I feel like those types of dreams are closer than we think sometimes. So that's why everything for me is a work in progress. And I'm crazy enough to try to book a show at the Hollywood Bowl. Fuck around, be 13 people there. People there. Hey, y'all still ain't buying tickets. Y'all still ain't supporting. Well, what's up?
I think it's a little bit of a process. It's more of a process than that. But yeah, hey, like, get the ball rolling though. Like, I mean, you can only be told no. Like, you can only be told no.
I think I'll be like, how many people? I'll be like, I'll probably sell like 25, 35 tickets or something at least.
But it's a nice 25, 35 though.
Right.
Like, so.
Like, we probably socially distance. I know that's all the niggas I got to come, but we socially distancing. So we 25.
Yeah, no, they'll tell you no, but they'll give you a good reason for you to keep trying. Like, no, we usually only work with people who only have crowds of more like 12,000. So, so I just need 12,000. That's it.
Right.
So I just, okay. All right, I'll be right back. Let me let me go for some years and do some stuff. So I'll be right back. No, but
that's the benefit of that online base and that online fan base and having that following, you know. So that's that gift and that curse, that double-edged sword. I don't want it. I'm not as interested or motivated to have it, but there's a lot of power and a lot of benefits that come from having that fan base too. Yeah. So should you have the opportunity to have the conversation with someone there, how many people can you draw? What's your following like? You know, that kind of stuff makes it. So that's the work in progress.
Yeah. I definitely would love to see somebody like the 85 South show at the Hollywood Bowl. I think that would be perfect. I think that would be perfect for them. Like, kind of like the We Made It moment for them if they were just at the Hollywood Bowl, just like doing it outside, just roasting everybody in the park, like old school style. And so, but we're going to do this thing with you where we call it either or. Where basically I give you some comedy topics and basically you just give me your preference and stuff. Now, these are just your preference. Like, nobody's going to sit here and judge you on my end. I mean, they might judge you in the comments or anything like that, but this is just your favorites and stuff. And just basically just be honest and just let us know your favorites. Okay, you ready?
All right, ready.
Okay, so Laugh After Dark or Def Comedy Jam?
I gotta pick one that I'm just a fan of.
Yeah.
All right.
Or which one you prefer? Which one you prefer?
I'm gonna go Def Comedy Jam if I gotta watch something. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go Def Comedy Jam. That's legendary.
I guess. Yeah. All right. I guess. Okay, so Eddie Murphy Raw or Richard Pryor Live on the Sunset Strip?
Eddie Murphy Raw.
Okay. Martin Lawrence, You So Crazy, or D. Ray Davis Power Play?
I'm gonna go Martin Lawrence, You So Crazy.
Okay. Tony Baker or Mike Epps?
Whoo! That's a tough one, bro. Somebody that I guess I'm a fan of both of them niggas, man. I'm really struggling with that one, bro. I guess I'm gonna just slang Mike Epps out there because I've just seen his. I've always been a fan. I've always been a laughing fan of Mike Epps, man. Both of them cats are shit. Damn, that's crazy. That's a good question, though, too.
Okay, so Friday After Next or All About the Benjamins?
Friday After Next.
Okay, Charlie Wilson or Richard Pryor?
Go on, Charlie Wilson, man. Bet on yourself.
Exactly. As you should, man. Some people I ask that question to, they be like, you can't say you better than Richard. Like, yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. It's your opinion. Like, nobody can kill you over that, okay? Nobody can kill you for thinking you're better than Richard Pryor. And so, and as you should. Okay.
They gonna drag me. Get the fuck out of here, nigga. You ain't even that funny, man. I seen you. I'm be like, shut up, man. He ain't ask you.
Well, no, like, and don't you hate when people find out you're a comic, they ask you like, oh man, like, have you seen Kevin Hart? Like, nah, I haven't. I haven't seen any of these guys. I just thought like of doing it one day.
I'm a fan of and shit. I'm such a fan of such and such. Yeah, don't you know?
Oh yeah, that's the worst. I think like people don't really understand that about a comic. Don't talk about how great another comic is while you're around another comic.
Right. Relax.
Like, oh my God! Like, have you seen that Cat Williams special? I love it. Like, that's nice.
Right.
All right, cool.
I'm like, you gonna come to my show Saturday, or is 10 to get in? Can you? No.
Nope. Gotta watch Cat Williams this weekend.
Right.
Gotta watch Cat. It just hurts your soul and stuff, but. Man, thank you, Charlie. Thank you for hanging out with me and doing this interview and everything and just sharing your thoughts on comedy and everything. It was a blast, like, having you around. Can't wait to see Laugh After Dark Season 3. I know it's going to come out sometime in 2021, so I'm very eager to see that. If you want to tell fans where they can find you on social media, like, tell them right now.
Oh, for sure, man. Follow me at Charlie Wilson TV. That's everything. Most of the time on the gram. Charlie Wilson TV. And make sure y'all check out laughafterdark.com for all the details for the show. Season 1 and 2 are on Amazon Prime right now. Just search Laugh After Dark. And yeah, go with that. And the podcast, Do Tell with Laugh After Dark on YouTube.
And that's what's up. And that is our show, man. Thank you, Charlie Wilson, for coming out tonight, having some fun with us. Keep tuning in with us at We on the Laughs. You can check us out or subscribe to our YouTube page right now, where you can see interviews like this from other comics from previous shows. Thank you, guys. It's been a pleasure. My name's Tyson Paul, and keep laughing at life, because it's actually pretty funny. All right, see you guys next week. Thank you, guys.
Big facts, big facts.